Hi, everybody. I am Annette, and welcome to this week's session of Healing from the Inside Out. So, I am here with CJC Boyd, my fabulous co host on most of my shows. And we want to talk a little bit about aligning with your energy and how gratitude can really help you on your health journey and in anything you do, whether it's business, because she does like real life for the entrepreneurs with me. So CJ is a very grateful person. She practices gratitude daily, and that's kind of why her and I align really well because we kind of sink into the same concepts in life, you right? And you attract people that are like you. So um I want to I want you to express how gratitude has changed the game for you in not just business, but your relationships and even in your health because I know that it's helped me dramatically in my health.
Okay, so I'll start with relationships first because anybody who knows my story knows that I was married for 21 years and then I got divorced after 21 years. And I realized that being in gratitude for everything that my relationship brought to me was very important. And, being in a negative space and talking shit about him and saying, oh, he's not doing this, or I'm angry about this, or he did this, or he's not doing that. It was like killing our relationship. And once we got divorced and I realized I have all these things to be grateful for him about, I started, viewing him in a different light. And, we got back together. We've been married now for almost 4 years again, but I look for the things that he does great or how he makes me feel in a good way, and being in gratitude for that is how we start attracting those things. So if I'm like, oh, I'm grateful that he goes out and takes the trash out and he makes sure that the mail is brought in, or he supports our family, and I'm grateful for those things. It really changed how I looked at him instead of honing in on that one thing that he didn't do exactly right that I thought that he should do. So being grateful for the things in a relationship that people bring to the relationship totally changes how they start acting, because when you're appreciative of them, they're like, oh, she's appreciative of that, I'm going to do more of that. So
Mm.
that really changed my life as far as relationships. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I watched my mom binge eat my whole entire life. I was anorexic in high school. I would binge and purge and binge and purge, and I would always was angry. I would look at myself in the mirror and go, "Oh, I hate this body. I'm not skinny enough. Why can't I look like so and so?" And when I realized, like, all the things that my body does for me, like my brain is like freaking smart, and I know all these things, and my brain tells my heart to beat. And I every morning when I wake up, I just lay in my bed before I even open my eyes, and I'm like, I'm grateful that my brain tells my heart to beat. I don't have to think about that. There's all these things in life I have to think about, but my body works on its own on autopilot. And I just stop and look at everything, like the fact that most things people overlook, like eyesight. God created me with a really, even though I wear glasses and my eyesight's not perfect, but he created me with the ability to see the beauty around me that he created. Like, I'm looking out my window right now and leaves are falling off the tree. It's fall. And I'm like all the vibrant colors of all the different kinds of leaves. So being grateful for those little things that most people take for granted really changes things, because then you're stopped and you're aware and you're present in that moment, and there's so many things to be grateful for. Even though there's stuff going on around in the world, there's so much right in front of me that I have to be grateful for. So that's really changed everything as far as like being in gratitude every single day. And then my business is a mindset business, first and foremost, in being grateful for every opportunity that comes along, every person that comes in my inbox, just being grateful that there's so many people with so many different energies. And sometimes they align, sometimes they resonate, sometimes they don't. But I'm grateful for the fact that I realize that. Like in the past, I'd be like, oh, I want everybody to be in my business and I want to help everybody. I can't help everybody. And there are certain people that I've tried to help, and it's like you give that energy, give that energy, give that energy, and there's no way that their mindset's going to change. And I realize that I have to be grateful for the people that are ready, that are coming to me, that I can change their lives. But there are so many people that, no matter what I say, it's not going to be the right thing because they're not ready, and I can't do that. But I'm grateful for the ability to say my piece and know how much that my life has changed and be able to share my story with other people. And just being grateful for everything, single thing that I've been through in my life, everything that I've been through in my life up to this point brought me to this minute, to this moment right now that It's a pretty good freaking life if I stop and think about it, you know. And a lot of people wallow in the self-pity and the woe is me and the victimhood. And when you realize all the things that you've accomplished in your life up to this point, you know, it just brings back that feeling of peace and like strength and purpose. And it's like you realize I do have a pretty great life. And I helped create that by the things that I'm thinking and by being grateful for the things that come to me instead of, you know, surrounding myself with people who are in that sob story and telling the same story. You know, it's like a lot of people get into this space and they find people who are, you know, been in misery. So they're commiserating together that misery, and then they get more of that misery because they aren't grateful for the things that have brought them to that space. And I think for me, gratitude was the flipping point. When I first started my business, they said the number one thing you need to do is buy the books of magic. And I was like, the fuck is that going to do? How's that going to build me a business? And it was
I
like,
love that book.
okay, but when I started doing it, you know, my I started like really like change something inside of me on a deeper cellular level. It wasn't just this surface. Thank you for opening the door. Thank you for sending me this gift. Thank you for saying happy birthday. It was like, thank you. Thank you for all these amazing things that I really have in my life that I would have never taken the time to stop and really truly appreciate. So gratitude's been a game changer for me.
I love everything you said, and I could relate. I think I shared with you before that I wasn't the most grateful person in the world. And usually, when I was in those least grateful moments, there was a lot of sickness ensuing in my body. And I would, have that conversation with God. It can't get any worse. And I felt like He would reach down to me and say, "Yes, it can, my child. And here you
Here you
go.
go. It
Watch,"
was
right?
accepted.
So, so I did shift my perspective. That book did change me in a lot of ways too on a cellular level, honestly. But I feel that when I start my day on a more positive note, because I do gratitude in the morning first thing. I don't even leave my bed just like you do. And to wake up with that kind of positivity really does project how the rest of your day is going to go, because you could always bring it back to something you're grateful about. But it helps you also be very present and intentional about your day when you set intentions of gratitude, positivity. Positivity is so healthy for us on a great way. There's so much negativity out in the world, right? But if we shed light and bring more positivity going forward, I think that helps other people. And when we're more positive, it does impact our social settings. And socialization is one of our lifebloods. We need that we all crave that as human beings. But gratitude, let me give you an example. So I listen to a lot of things, a lot of talks, a lot of people that I appreciate what they teach, and they talk about how our brain works. When we wake up, we're already living that story. When we wake up, and the first thing we do in the morning is we're thinking about something that happened yesterday, or what our current condition is, which brings us back to the negativity of what's not going well. You know, whether they're worrying about the bills or something. Most people get out of their bed thinking about the past, right? So if you keep thinking about the past, you keep living in the past and nothing in your future changes. So setting your intentions, especially early in the morning, has the propensity to really change everything that's occurred, right? Because you,
Yeah.
you get to leave that past where it is. You get to let to you get to let go of that negativity that holds people. And negativity breeds so much sickness. It's that stress when we're thinking about what we don't have. And I was that person that would look at other people. We grew up poor and say, well, why don't we have that? Why not me? Right. And
Yeah.
and I remember what that used to do to my insides. I remember feeling uncomfortable in situations where people were very wealthy because I was very poor. It made me uncomfortable. So,
Right.
and I would say, why not me? And I said, yeah, why not me? And I just started working harder. So I felt those shifts, and it really did change my life and my health. because
Yeah.
I started appreciating where I was at when I was 300 pounds. Okay, I'm 300 pounds, but I was a size three or a size one at some point. So the chances are that I can get back there because I know my body can be in that situation, right? So I started being grateful for now. So here I am now at 300 pounds, right? But I have to love myself now because you can't get to where you want to go with not without accepting your current situation, right? Because you're overwhelming yourself with what you don't have, right? You're pondering on that negativity, right? Because I hated that person that was looking back at me. But until I really started to love myself and reflect on even that 300 pound and how it got me through those 12-hour days and all those other things that I was taking in, it allowed me to free myself and move out of that situation.
Yeah. I think, for me, it's one of those things where, like, and like I said, I've struggled with my weight. I was at my highest of 298 pounds after I had my last son. And it's like I would go to the store and, my husband would be like, oh, let's go try on clothes. And I would like instantly be like, no, I can't, and burst into flames because I hated trying on clothes. And I couldn't even look in the mirror. But when I started doing mirror work, like going and looking in the mirror and like finding things about me that I liked, like, wow, my eyes sparkle when I smile, or I have these dimples that I didn't realize I had when I smile because I didn't smile enough. And when you bring it back to those things and you're grateful, like even when you're 300 pounds, but you are healthy enough to move, to be able to go outside and walk, around the block once, those are all the things that start to change that mindset of being like, oh, I'm pissed off at myself. Why did I let myself get this bad? How did this happen? When you're like, okay, yes, I allowed myself to get to this point, but I'm still healthy enough to be able to move, and I'm able to, make the change to eat better or to drink better water or to do whatever. And you bring yourself back to that moment where it's like, okay, I'm going to pick one thing to laser focus on that I'm happy about today. And it just starts changing it. And I think the other thing is it's being in real gratitude, not this toxic positivity where everybody's like, oh, everything's joy and rainbows and unicorns and I have to be happy all the time. No, it's like really being honest and genuine about the things that you're happy about, even if it's the fact that, I got to pay an extra $5 on my medical bill this time around, or, I got to go to the grocery store and I could buy fruit this time, I could afford it. It's like the little things that you take for granted that are big, huge things. If you focus on those little things become big things. And it's just like that snowball effect. When you start being grateful, more things happen for you to be grateful for. And, when I first started my journey, I'm like, I couldn't even walk for 5 minutes on the treadmill. And it's like, okay, what the heck? I remember being a kid in like gym class and playing dodgeball and being on the volleyball
Yeah,
team and all the things. And it's like, I can't even walk 5 minutes on the treadmill. But then when you get to the where you're like, okay, I walked 5 minutes and I don't feel like I'm gonna die. Oh my God, that's so awesome. And so it's like just honing in on those things and just really allowing yourself to feel gratitude for the fact that you can do something that you couldn't do yesterday, that just changes life in a huge way.
that's my husband. He's gonna keep calling me until I finally. That's my husband. He's probably asking me, "Honey, where's the?" It's too funny.
I
I'll
love
call
it.
him back when we're done. But he'll call me like all day until he gets through. So,
I love it.
so you know what? But you know what I find interesting though. No matter where we're at, there's always room for growth and there's always room for change. There's a lot of things I can't do like regular people in health. I did break my spine. So um I don't have the pain associated with it, but certain movements are very uncomfortable for me. And I know that it will pull me back out of alignment. So I learned how to do things standing up that most people do laying down because it wasn't serving me. So I found gratitude in knowing that there were, alternating ways to do things, that it doesn't have to be just one way. And I don't think gratitude has to be one way either. So And by that I mean different people are grateful about different situations, right? But it's the concept of putting gratitude in your life, in your attitude, and seeing what it does for you, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not grateful about anything, right? But it only takes 2 minutes to maybe think of 3 or 4 things in your day that you could be grateful for and set that intention that you're going to try to be more grateful for what you do have. Because so many of us think, maybe we don't have what we want yet, or maybe we're not at where we thought we'd be at a specific age, or you know, we don't have that vacation home that we want, or whatever it is. There is always somebody that is so much worse off than us, right? People that don't have help. I do a lot of respite care on the weekends, and people that have to live on events that have traits. So they can't just get up and go like we can. That freedom that we have to get up and move, whether it's a struggle or not, we could still do it, right? So um I think just by finding gratitude for the small really helps. So
Yeah.
any last moments
I
to
just want to
share?
say, like you said, something that hit me when you were talking is something that somebody said to me a while back. My mom passed from stage 4 lung cancer like 13 years ago. And I wake up every single morning and I think, wow, I have the gift of life. You know how many people didn't get to wake up and take a breath in this morning? What am I going to do to be grateful for the fact that I was given that blessing and that gift today? That really changed things for me. And then also, like being intentional before I go to bed, I go through and I'm like, okay, this was something really great that happened for me today. I'm setting my intention to get the best night's sleep, to wake up rested and ready to take on the day tomorrow. And I find that I wake up in such a better mood when I'm intentional before I fall asleep, being in gratitude for the day that I just had also. So it's all just a matter of choice, like choosing to be happy and create that happiness for ourselves. And when we're grateful for the little things, like the fact that I woke up and my heart's beating and I took in a breath this morning, there are so many people who don't get that option. And my husband's constantly going, oh, well, we're getting old. And I'm like, we're 54. We're not old. And a lot of people don't get that gift of being able to age and get old. So I'm grateful for the fact that I get that right now. So it's being grateful for just the little things.
I am going to be 58 this year, and I am grateful for every day that I've had, right? So he is looking for 58 and 59.
Yep.
So, guys, we want to thank you for coming in. We are grateful for you. We might not say that often enough, but we're grateful that you are here, and we hope that we're sharing some value in some way, and we hope you have a great day. Take care.